Super Nintendo, we used to rent so many games, and we didn't play through a lot unless I owned them. And I only ever owned stuff like Final Fantasy or Chrono Trigger, just because I felt like it was worth the 67. Oh, I think Final Fantasy 3 was like $80 in 1994 money. All right, let's see. Okay, there's Punch. I think it's hard to make interesting Superman movies even, just because you have to depower him pretty much. What is this? Oh, nice. But games is even harder too. Like, how do you make it seem like he can get hurt by these rando thugs for no reason? Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy it. Next time I'm at the game store, I'm buying that Chester Cheetah game. Now I have to own it. I mean, there are some like not universal, but some games that were considered not that great that I love. Like, there's a co-op shooter. It's kind of like a mech shooter called Future Cop LAPD. It's the stupidest name, but it's fully co-op, and it's such a fun game. It's just a straight up kind of action game. Jurassic Park 2, The Chaos Continues on Super Nintendo. I love that game, even though it is super cheap. It has probably one of the best random soundtracks on Super Nintendo. It has like full like Congo drums. It like gives you this like jungle feel. It's like one of the few games on SNES that had like full surround sound. Oh. So that's that. These buttons do okay, those don't do anything. Like, he's bulletproof, so what is that guy shooting? Are they supposed to be kryptonite bullets? Watch, next time you jump on stream, Tiny, I swear to God, I'm gonna have that Chester game, a physical copy. I'm gonna go down to the store, right? Watch, it's gonna be like some hard to find game. I'm gonna have to like get it on eBay for like $500 because nobody bought it. I had a friend over, we were streaming a couple weeks ago, and like Wave Race is like one of his favorite games, so we're playing Wave Race on the 64, and apparently he didn't know, and he's like pretty much a game historian, this guy knows everything. He didn't know that they had a Wave Race for GameCube, and it's only like $12-13, and that's pretty good because GameCube games are so overpriced right now, and he couldn't find it anywhere. He finally found it like, I think like last week or something at some random swap, but he just couldn't find it just because he wanted it. I don't know anything. I've never even heard of this game. So I wonder if it's like considered like a good game or not. I mean, it plays nice. I mean, I've only had pretty much the same two enemies though, so I wouldn't say the enemy variety so far. Oh, here we go. As soon as I said it. Yeah, there you go. Oh. But you know, I also skipped through the story in the beginning, so that could have explained everything to me. Like, I loved watching Smallville when I was younger, but it's still, they had to make so many new kryptonites just to justify all the enemies that Clark had to face. Oh, I threw that way too early. Oh, Yeah, I mean, they probably are using, like, because this probably came out right around the same time that the comic did. And I remember when I was a kid, I had the comic, and it's such an iconic cover. Because Superman was dead for a while in the comics. Like, they didn't bring him back, like, the next issue. He was dead for a while. And then they had those, like, pretend Supermen that came in. I haven't heard, I mean, I just watched, like, a DC animated version of it like a couple years ago, but I still don't remember exactly. But these look like more like some Hellboy villains or something. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, so basically you think all your whatever planet they're in, I guess it doesn't have to be Krypton. And say, wait a minute, how many people survived that? They made it sound like nobody did, and now all of a sudden there always seems to be more, because you had Zod and then his people and then Supergirl, and it's almost like with Star Wars, like they made it seem like there was almost no Jedi, but over time they've just continued to be like, well, a lot of Jedi survived Order 66. But if you think if there's a galaxy full of them, even a couple hundred would be almost extinction. Ah! I don't like this guy very much. Oh, and he's too short for that. Alright, we've had three different villains. Oh, now I can fly? Could not fly before. Oh, duh. Have to hit jump more than once. And I'm sorry, the blue guys don't count. They're just reskins of the red guys. Oh, Clawster, Doomsday's little brother. Really? That was the boss? Huh. It seemed kind of anticlimactic. Alright, so maybe now I need to pay attention to this. Unknown Origins is heading from Metropolis, destroying everything in its path. Not even the Justice League can stop it. Doomsday is here. Yeah, only Superman. So was that just some random thing that Superman was doing? Whatever level I just did had nothing to do with Doomsday. It was just some thing that Superman had got going on. I guess we'll decide that when we see what kind of villains they have for this. Ah, different villains. Now we've got street punks. I'm sorry, no, there's no way that street punks are going to do anything to Superman.
Can't touch this.
Oh!
Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
I don't even know what that's for. Thank you for... Oh, we just got... Nice. Thank you. We just got raided. Hey, how's it going? Just playing some Superman. How are you doing? Nice. What were you just streaming? Nice. Yeah, we've been playing retro games for the last couple hours. Started with some Turtles in Time. Played some really crappy SNES license games. Chester the Cheetah. Some Street Fighter Alpha. Oh, nice. Were we chatting about any gaming stuff or just in general? I've never played this game before, so I mean, so far it's okay. I wouldn't say it's like one of the best brawlers I've ever played, that's for sure. Oh, nice, Starfield, yeah. You looking forward to it? What's your take so far? I've been trying to stay away from... I just feel like there's too many trailers and breakdowns for games now where it's just kind of like... I just want to see a little bit about it and kind of make my own decision. And Starfield, I get it. I understand why there's so much for it. But I've been kind of trying to stay away from it. And it just feels like it's like, oh, it's got this accolade trailer. It's got a trailer for the trailer. It's just so much that... Alright. I have no idea why I can't get past this. I'm like cautiously optimistic about it. There's something about what I have seen that just kind of makes it feel sterile to me. I don't know if that makes sense. And I agree from what I've heard that it's kind of a hard game because it's so big to really showcase. So I'm definitely going to give it a try. I do like myself some big Bethesda RPGs. I'm just hoping it's not buggy. Really? Right after I finish streaming, I'm gonna jump on some Sea of Stars. I want to give that a shot. I'm excited about that. I like retro RPG, but I still got Baldur's Gate when that drops on PS5, which I'm surprised they didn't show anything at Gamescom for Baldur's Gate on PS5. At least I didn't see anything. So are you going to be playing it on Xbox or are you going to be playing on PC when it drops? I just got Game Pass, so I figure worst case scenario, if it is not that great. Nice. So what is all that hoopla that I've been hearing about with AMD cards or something? Like, are they using something specific on AMD cards? Which is weird because I never hear that. Usually I hear NVIDIA. Just destroyed by these more like I don't know, late 80s, early 90s, just general punk type of looking guys. Yeah, there's something, if you look at it, I've always had NVIDIA cards just because I run like all this virtual pinball stuff behind me. And all this stuff that I have running on this arcade, it's just, I have to download separate shaders if I used an AMD card, so I've just always stuck with that. But I heard, I didn't really get into it, that they were catering some special, I don't know, something for AMD cards. And there's it was the internet, so people were pissed off immediately. They're pissed off before it was even, somebody even said anything. So yeah, maybe when you play it on PC, maybe you'll be able to tell whatever that is, that the issue was. It was weird though, I just have never really heard that for... You got a pretty beefy machine? Because I heard you need a pretty beefy machine to run Starfield on there. Well, I know that it's like that DSLL that they use for NVIDIA. Like it's one of on their 40, I think it's just on their 40 series. AMD has something similar, they call it whatever. And I think that the DSLL or whatever NVIDIA is not featured if you have an NVIDIA card, but whatever AMD's technology is. I think that's what it is, something like that, but I could be wrong. It's not like the games won't play. So I beat Doomsday and then now nothing. That seems kind of weird. Yeah, but we got we also play a lot of fighting games as well too. I hope that I think it's too late for them to be doing any type of delay for Baldur's Gate 3 on PlayStation. I'm just surprised that they didn't have anything about that. I mean, I know they said that it will release on Xbox at some point. I have a strong feeling that we're just going to see so much negativity from Starfield, whether it's good or not, because it's just been so hyped, and after Redfall, I think that it's just, I don't think there's anything it can do to escape some sort of controversy at this point. I mean, we had that with Cyberpunk, No Man's Sky. We just have it's just, I think in this day and age, it's impossible to really, you can't please everybody, nor should you anyway. I feel like I've already gone up this wall more than once. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's impossible. It's not even just exclusive to games. Like, if it's a film or a TV show or anything that's got any like fandom behind it, it's gonna have some sort of toxicity to it. And for someone like me, like an older gamer, like the most toxic and we had a bunch of like really crappy dropped games when I was a kid. You know, there was no patches, there was nothing. But the biggest debate I ever really had with people was like Nintendo versus Sega, and that was pretty much it. I mean, we have something similar with, you know, Sony. I get all the systems if I can, because I think both of them have things. I like Game Pass, but I like the exclusives on PlayStation. I like the PlayStation controller much more. But I also love the Switch too, so. Yeah. It's just like, hey, you should just enjoy that we live in a time where these games, these massive games are built. I mean, there's just thousands of people working on these games for years. I can't even imagine how difficult it is to do something like that, you know? Like, there's some leeway. I mean, you shouldn't drop garbage either, believe me. I mean, EA, for instance, I feel like almost everything in the last decade they've done is drop garbage. I'm not really into sports, but even with their sports games, I've heard they just phone it in. Oh. How many times am I going to fight Doomsday? Seems a lot easier than he was in the comics. Yeah, that is true. The Launchbox team too. I mean, how long has it been around? It's been a long since I started this. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. They should just be happy for that. I mean, developers do need to be held accountable for when they drop garbage or they overhype something and promise something, and you have to, or they do paywalls, live services. I mean, there's all kind gotcha games. There's a bunch of negative stuff that, believe me, developers do. But I think that for the most part, people take it too far instead of just enjoying. That's the one thing I do like about Switch games, is because there's nobody really bitching about Tears of the Kingdom or the new, whatever new Mario or Metroid, because they're not really compared, because so many people are so obsessed with graphics now and everything to other games. Nintendo just does their own thing. Yeah, RetroArch too. And I bet, have you ever used the automatic, what is it? I've seen it on there before, where it does the auto translate for the games that are in English. What's everybody's game of the year so far? Is there any specific games that you've played that are top contenders? I mean, I know we still have some big games coming out. Yeah, that's built in. It's like automated, and there's like multiple ways to do it, but you have to like set it up through like Google's Translate API, and I've never really got into it, because you can get a lot of games, Japanese games, you can get ROMs for them that are already fan translated. But I thought it'd be I've seen videos of it, but whether it works or not, who knows? I don't know why this is like a side-scrolling shooter all of a sudden. Yeah, I think they released that a while ago. Yeah, I want to get Diablo so bad, I just haven't had time. I wanted to finish up Final Fantasy 16, which is my game of the year so far. So I was trying to hold off on any other RPGs, and it just took longer between streaming to get through it. So I'm going to have to hold off. But I've heard good things. I've heard really good things about it. And that's not even to... I didn't think I was going to like... No, it's actually under the settings. It's actually, Tiny, it's under the settings in there. I forget what it's called. But King, yeah, there was... Oh, hey, yeah, I'll check out your channel and drop you a follow. Have a good one. Thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. Maybe that is. It just doesn't sound familiar. What I will say that's another positive about this game, I think the graphics look pretty good, is that there's not a set amount of continues. I always think that's so stupid. You only got 3 continues. Yeah, I think I can, hold on. They have it right under here somewhere. I don't know. I don't know if you have to add it or not, but it's under like translation services. It's under one here. No, that's lobbies. It's like one. It's somewhere here. AI service. That's where it's under. Translate AI. Change settings for the AI service translation. TTS miscellaneous. That's where it's at in the settings. All right. Is this Cyber Superman? But there's like some great fan translations of like Mother 3 and stuff, so I've never really had to use it. Plus, I don't usually use this setup for games that I think it would really matter too much, but it is cool. I just more want to see how well it works. Because apparently you can have it not only change it on the fly back and forth, but you can have it spoken, like it can use the Microsoft. Oh yeah, I mean, I guess if I really thought about it, there probably is a lot of like Super Famicom games. You know, I think another one is there's a ton of Saturn games, because Saturn was much more popular out here than it was, or in Japan than it was here, because it was shadow dropped. You know, hey, guess what? Saturn available today. Sega's big mistake of 1995, and for their consoles going forward. But yeah, there's a lot of Saturn games I wish I could play, so I guess that it would be nice. But I think that you can also use voice services as well. And it's been a long time. They've actually had it in RetroArch for at least 2 years, if not longer. And you have to set it up through Google. Like, you have to go into Google and do all this stuff, and I just never got around to it. Is this a boss? What Oh, these are just regular guys, or regular enemies. Oh, he has a pretty cool shot. Oh! I know I'm just gonna have to deal another one of those guys, and there was nothing. I needed that help. Yeah, let's get Elite right off the bat here. There you go, he's done. Oh, there's of course just another Elite waiting. My only only problem with RetroArch is that their Sega emulation, and no Sega emulation is ever as good as Fusion is. It's just that I can't get Fusion to run properly in full screen because it hasn't been updated since like 2010. But for whatever reason, that just works so well. And I've had countless Sega CD games that just don't even work. Take care of that guy right off the bat. These Elite guys are really annoying. Maybe that's why they're Elite. Oh! Do you see how quickly they just took out Superman? That ain't right. Gotta start from scratch. Yeah, Demio works great for Naomi. I used to use it for Sammy, but somebody did a fork of Redream, so all the Sammy arcade games now run on Redream. So I really like the way that it upscales the Naomi games because Demio, some of the sprites don't look so great when you're playing on modern screens. Alright, it's gonna be my last shot on this game before I call it. Oh, Redream? Or Demio? Because Demio doesn't. Everybody uses Flycast for Dreamcast stuff. I use Demio by itself. I think that's actually another one that I do still run through Rocket Launcher. But I use Redream for Dreamcast anyway. I think Naomi's the only thing I still use Demio, except for some of the, there's a couple of games that Redream won't do. Oh, that I don't know. It wasn't when I first set it up, and I'm pretty bad about updating my emulators. I hate updating MAME. Like, I'll wait till there's like 10 new versions before updating it. It may be, but because Redream runs so little resources in portable mode, I don't know how much better it would run in RetroArch. It just you can run Redream like on your Android phone. Like, it just uses so little resources, and I don't know if there's a core for it or not. Maybe there is. Yeah, I use the PCX2 or whatever on its own. I'm glad they have DuckStation for PS1 on there now. Oh, my favorite guys. I just think it's amazing that PS6e or whatever too, the PS2 emulator, can upscale a game to 4K so great, but then I've seen actually HD remakes of PS2 games that look like garbage that are like $50. Like, how is basically the AI able to do this better? Because they're just trying to make money, they don't care, that's why. DuckStation for PS1, yeah, I think it's way better. The upscale works really well, plus there's like a host of games that they always had issues rendering on PS1 emulators that DuckStation does not have. It's super lightweight, it runs great whether you run it in RetroArch or not, but it has a lot of great features. I think I just started using it in RetroArch just because it took a while for the core to have the same features as the actual emulator. I used to use PCXE or what, I can't remember what it's called. I still have to use that emulator for light gun games on PS1. It's the only one that will work well enough where it doesn't cause an issue. None of the cores will play like Gunslinger or any of the other PS Time Crisis very well on there for whatever weird reason. And I forget what the emulator is, but it sucks because all the changes are made in the registry, and so I couldn't figure out why it wasn't changing this. And it was a huge rabbit hole. So almost all the Taito and Nesco Live games run in Technoparrot, so there's no reason to. I used to, and they're such a pain because you have to use that R launcher or whatever to get them to work properly. And then you have to set up the controls for each one. Technoparrot has it doesn't have an interface, but it's so easy. You just go into the game little area and then just set your controls, and it's like that forever. And you can turn on like debug mode and like different like added things that you can do from like on an arcade cabinet. Yeah, go over to Technoparrot. You can get all of the features for free. The only thing that for the patron is that they release games in patron first, some of the newer ones, but really you're a guinea pig for that. And there might be one other thing. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't run, there's no antivirus on my systems. I mean, there's a way to prevent files that my friend put on here, but Windows Defender is blocked. It thinks it's running on my computer and it's not. Yeah, it's been around for a long time now. It's been at least 8 years since Technoparrot came out, and the amount of games that work on there, it's got to be like over 100. And all those Tato games run on there, like Gundam and like Haunted Mansion, Let's Go Safari. Yeah, I'll drop in there and show you